Hey everyone, and welcome to our sound design course. I'm the head of Dorama Audio Studio, and with the help of this course, I'd like to share with you our company's approach to creating sound design. For more than 7 years, Dorama Audio has been creating music and audio design for various media projects. During this time, we've had an opportunity to work with a huge number of big and small companies all over the world. In order to get a clearer picture of what our work is about, let's watch our show reel.
So I was in Kuwait recently doing a comedy show with some other American comedians. They all...
The production of any visual content just happens to be mainly focused on the user's visual experience. While the user's audio experience is often completely neglected, but the sound is extremely important not only for telling or supporting the story, but for adding intensity to the entire experience. Let's do a small experiment. So here's the animation of our logo. The animation itself is pretty cool, but it lacks something that will make us feel the dynamics and get the message of our company and this animation in general. Let's see how it changes when we add some sound to it. You might have noticed that the sound allows us somehow to feel every detail of the animation and really gets its dynamics. As you know, the sound is a wave that is coming from some source and eventually gets to our ears. So the sound is literally touching us. And it is a powerful tool that helps us to kind of touch the animation and feel it physically. Moreover, we also use sounds to create the atmosphere and the mood to reveal our idea. In this case, we're talking about our studio's idea and the way our audience perceives us, the mood and emotions our work is associated with. Sound design is not only a way to create some kind of sound image or an atmosphere for some event. Sound design is a tool to tell a story, but of course, as with any other sphere, you need to study and practice it a lot. Sound design is used in many industries. If we consider in engineering, for example, modern electric cars need some special engine sound which will make the car safer for pedestrians, yet the sound should not be too loud or too disturbing. It should tell the brand of the story as well, and that's when professional sound designers come into play. Sound design in the music industry gives us a chance to create a new brand and unique sound for popular tracks. In movies and video game industry, sound design allows creating completely new worlds, like in Hellblade, where a massive part of the interaction with the game world is built upon the sound. Sound designers can use their skills in any industry where the sound is needed, because the way you work with sound would be pretty much the same everywhere. But it's important to choose the sphere you'll enjoy working in. For example, we're using our sound designing skills to help startup companies tell about themselves and the products they make. Let's consider the benefits sound can give to an audiovisual artwork. First of all, it allows to expand the screen borders. What does it mean? we're limited by the borders of the screen we're looking at. We see some visual actions on the screen, but with the help of the sound, we can add some new details to the visual image on the screen. Let's watch an example. So here's the video. There's a car driving on the road. Suddenly, somebody throws away a plastic bag from that car. And there's a sound of some beast roaring. And we can tell there's not only the car and the bag and nature around, but there's someone else present in this story. Some wild animal, and it's not happy with what just happened here. That's how we expand the borders of the screen, and we add some important details to the story. Another great thing about sound is the way it helps you to tell the condition of something. Like when you're driving in your car and you hear some really weird and disturbing sounds coming from the engine or any other source of the car, and you can immediately tell there's something wrong with the car. Sound can tell you there's a problem. Okay, here's an example. Here's a video. We can see a forest. When we walk into a forest, we usually hear birds singing. But when there's no sound of them, we can feel there's something wrong here. Okay, let's watch. Here's the forest and the birds are singing here. But here the birds are not singing, and there's nothing but the sound of the wind. As you can see, the forest from the second video seems to be weird, and somehow it feels unfriendly and uninviting. Let's move on to the next benefit of sound design, which is emotions and associations. Sound design is not only about audio support to the video content, it's more about creating associations and the emotions these associations give. So when we see something on the screen, we don't have to give it exactly the same sound it would have in real life. We can make a brand new association, some kind of sound illusion, which can give a different impression and a different emotion. So the image we see on the screen can be opposite to what we hear, and it will create a whole new mood. For example, we have made an opening video for GQ magazine's annual awards ceremony. It was a 45-second video with mostly static actions, and our task was to create a new sound image for every new frame and action in the video. Let's see what we came up with.
Я календарь.
Okay, let's move on. So the next great thing about sound is its ability to set a tone. That means we can set any tone to what's going on to the screen using different sounds. Let's watch an example. We were making sound design for Cinematic that opened a Cybersport Dota 2 tournament. So in this cinematic, there was a character named Roshan. It was a huge roaring beast who appeared from Hellfire. Our task was to create the Roshan's roar. The roar had to reveal Roshan's character, so it had to be ominous, powerful, and huge. Let's see what we came up with. But what if we gave Roshan another sound? So here's another version. The character looks completely different now. We still see a huge threatening beast, but his voice makes him rather a cute character, and he doesn't appear to be scary anymore. Though visually, he is still pretty frightful. Okay, let's move on. What does the sound on the screen consist of? We will find it out using an example. So here's an explainer video about the airport in Vancouver and what it could look like in 2037. An audio mix of this video consists of 5 main elements. First, the ambience. An ambience or atmosphere is a background noise that helps us to understand where the action takes place and what kind of action it is. It can be the sound of a forest or usually some busy city noise, for example, so the atmosphere helps us to immerse into what's going on the screen. In this video, the action first takes place near the airport. It may be a city, and we can hear cars passing by and all those typical city sounds. The next action takes place inside the airport, and again we can hear all those typical sounds. Next, Foley sounds. Foley effects are the sounds that follow the character's moves or any other movement on the screen. For instance, it could be the sound of the swishing of clothing or the character's footsteps. Foley sounds help to create a sense of reality on the screen. Next, audio effects or sound effects. These are the sounds that don't actually exist in the real world, but those that we can't record on a standard microphone. Think of the sound of a weapon of the future, or spaceships, or a robot's voice, or some interface. In this case, we have an interface from the future, so we're creating its sound from scratch. Next, voiceover. A voiceover is a narrator's voice which tells us what's going on the screen. We usually hear the voice but almost never actually see the narrator. We can also have voices of characters who are present on the screen, so here we have both. We have a voiceover.
The future of YVR are taking shape.
And we also have some interaction between characters on the screen. And last but certainly not least, music. Music allows setting the dynamics or the mood we want to convey, meaning the mood we want our audience to experience while watching the story. Note that a typical explainer video or visual essay doesn't always include all those 5 elements. Sometimes it only has some music or a voiceover and some sound effects, but sometimes we have a full sound design with an atmosphere, Foley sounds, etc. We need to balance in the right way, and we need to adjust the volume balance for all of those elements. Let's move on to the tools you need as a sound designer, and to tell you the truth, we don't need that much today to get a great result. So as hardware tools, you'll need a laptop, a sound card, headphones, and a recorder that helps us to stay mobile. The main software tool sound designers need for work is a digital audio workstation, or a DAW. In our studio, we're using Cubase. VST and audio plugins for creating unique synth textures, and also plugins to process recordings or even to create new unique sounds from them. Also sound libraries. It could be some third-party sound library or your own one, created with the help of recorders or made up with synthesizers. Drama Audio Studio has released 2 free audio libraries, and you can use them for both commercial or non-commercial projects. The first library is helpful when it comes to making sound design for explainer videos, and the second one will help you for when you're working with some interface. Okay guys, well that's it. That was a brief overview of what the job of a sound designer is about. You also have learned what sound design is, and what the sound on screen consists of, and what advantages of sound in visual media are. Together with Motion Design School, we are launching a course on creating sound design for explainer videos and visual essays. In this course, we'll share our personal experience creating engaging sound effects of high quality, and we'll do our best to share with you all our expertise we've gained. If you want to make truly awesome stuff with great sound design, you're welcome to Sound Design for Animation course.